Hi, this is your coach Joe Lucas, and welcome to my latest addition to my Practice Power blog. Hey, here we are on a beautiful Friday, end of May, getting ready to start June. And what I really thought would be a worthwhile endeavor for a few minutes is to walk you through one of my clients' monthly game plans. Since the month of June is right behind us, we want to get a monthly game plan up. I thought I'd share with you some just kind of a version of one and walk you through why this, to me, this one sheet, this one pager, if you will, and obviously there's a simpler version on Practice Power, and our goal is to create this actually create a more complex one like this as an option for you members of PracticePower.net. But what I wanted to do today is really walk you through, not only give you the case of why you want to create a monthly game plan, but then walk you through what I'm going to consider to be best practices. To give you a little background, this is a client of mine for over 2 years. He's grown his business very significantly, but not only has grown his business significantly, it's becoming more sustainable. He's taking a hell of a lot more time away from the office, a lot more strategic time, and he's really, really doing well. And so what I did before I shared this with you, I went through it, and I hope I took out all the personal and confidential information. And what I want to do is just kind of walk you through each area, tell you why it's important, and then encourage you over the weekend or maybe early next week to really put some energy and effort into putting one together for the month of June. Now, let me give you the business case for why a monthly game plan. What a lot of advisors do, and you may be one of them, is, come that December time period, it's time to do the annual business plan or set some goals or whatever one does between Christmas and New Year's, and maybe you do, if you will, we're going to have to make some resolutions and such. The challenge in this industry is that you could have a great 1 year plan, 5 year plans, but the problem becomes, how do you then break it down, chunk it out, minimalize it down to a 30-day snapshot, which then obviously we want to go ahead and get down into a daily game plan. And also what's nice about this monthly goal sheet is it actually has two sections. It has what I'll call a planning section here. So on the left side, it's, it calls it a tracking sheet, but it's really planning's on the left side and tracking's on the right side. So let's go over each one of these areas really quick and tell you what I'm looking for. And again, there's a simplified version of this on PracticePower.net in the Planning Center, so you can go take a look at that. But let's start looking at what we call the rocks. Now, what are rocks? Rocks are just a very cool word for annual goals. So here we have some goals in terms of production, assets under management, UITs, insurance premium, how many strategic days, again, down days, which is important, new households, referrals, client meetings, how many times we're going to bring up referrals and introductions, and how many touch base calls. So in this advisor's thinking for the year, not only do they have a revenue goal, an asset goal, new household goal, so on and so forth, but they also have goals on client meetings, how many referral conversations, how many touch base calls. And you see they're going to do between 1,300 and 1,400 touch base calls. And then here is sort of our year to date, where we are, right, with some of those things as we truck out through the month of May. Now, so these here, the rocks, for the most part, will not change radically throughout the year because these are annual goals. You might accomplish something, so therefore you may add something. You see there's 10 of them here. Do you need to have 10? No. You can have whatever is relevant to you. One thing I would always say is you don't want to sit there and clog up your planning process, your tracking process with a bunch of quote-unquote junk that just gets overwhelming to do. Okay, so that's the rocks. Now, for the month of May, you can see what this client of mine was looking to do in terms of, and what do you notice? we have minimums, and we have maximums, right? We have ranges, which is, if you're around me for any period of time, you know that this is not a absolute business. This is not a linear or formulatic business. There's a ton of randomness to it. When you have a ton of randomness, you want to have ranges. So randomness equals ranges. So we have production goal, and you'll notice that basically for every goal up here, we have it accounted for down in the goals for the month. Okay. Then we get down into the marketing activity. So what are we going to do to drive biz? Well, we have some passive things, right? Like newsletter blast. He does a muni bond. This client of mine does a lot of bonds. Then also we do some social media with LinkedIn. And then you see we talk about referrals and introductions, setting up the strategic calendar. He had a great wine event. We actually have a relationship with a gentleman comes in from France. We traveled actually the whole United States this spring with a lot of my clients, and did some very, very cool high-end wine tasting events. Okay, and then obviously some other personal things. So in the marketing activities, you'll see again, you see the referral conversations there, right? Minimum 18, 20 for the month. And if you really think about it, what we're really saying here is once a day or 1.5 times a day on average, right? I'm going to go ahead and mention introduction referrals to my clients. Okay. Now, down here we have opportunities for the month. So again, I took some things out because again, I want to keep things anonymous as possible here. But this is where you would put a client or prospect, and then what the opportunity is. And I left some in here because there's no names here. We have a couple mortgages we're working on. We wrote an annuity, which is great. We got some new money in, wonderful. And you would have this opportunity track here to put all your opportunities. So think of it like a pipeline report, if you will, for what you're looking to do. And then we have our referrals, so who they were, where they came from, which is great, and then some new households down here. These cells were filled, but again, to keep things anonymous, we want to go ahead and take that out. So this is kind of his, what I call business at a glance for the month of May. All right. Now, let's go over here. So on the right side of the sheet, right, this is where we add them all up, as I like to say, the actual tracking. Now, before some of you sit there and say, why do we want to track all this stuff? Great question. If you were in a regular/normal business, you would have a metrics. You would have, hey, what are your performance metrics, or KPIs, key performance indicators, right? It's just a term that a lot of consultants use when they're doing turnarounds, consulting with major companies. You'll hear the term KPIs. Well, in our space, we want to have our own version of the KPIs, if you will. And here we see some of them. So obviously, production by week we have here, and obviously we still have another week to go. So reality is we hit a number for May. How much new money? We blew that out the doors. We had a nice some new money came in. Still working on some UIT assets. So here, what I would consider to be kind of top line, right? Our top line key KPIs. Now, new households for the month. We're still working on that. Touch base calls. As you see, we're still pushing through that there. Now you notice there's two rows here, two columns here. So what's the two columns all about? Well, this column is my client, and this column is his junior partner. So if you're running a team, what you would do is have this built out with various columns for the team so we can monitor that activity. Okay? And then obviously here, referrals received. So first week we've got 1, second week we've got 2, so we did good. Okay, we're looking for 2, so we're 150% of plan, wonderful. Client meetings, again, because this person does a lot of business over the phone, this is what we're looking to do here. Not a big number, easily doable, 90%, all right? We talked about touch-based calls. So the ask, this is referral conversations, introduction conversations. And again, track it, and we'll add it up. And then strategic days, how many days strategically out of the Monday through Friday, so that we're making sure we're getting enough downtime to work on our business and not just kind of labor in the business, if you will. This person has insurance goals. So one of the things I'm a big fan of, and the principle of optimization. And what we want to do here is basically every week we want to be, for the month of May, we want to do 10 insurance reviews, and then obviously you can see we're a little lax here, a little behind the curve here, and I know if he's listening to this or watching this, let's make sure we pick it up for June, right? Morning ritual, again, here it is. 4 out of the 5 days, 5 out of the 5 days, 5 out of the 5 days. So again, tracking very well here. He, like I, believe the morning ritual is so important. So the morning ritual becomes one of our KPIs. Okay. Now, what's his net worth? So net worth to me is, a very simple way, very how do I want to say the word, clunky, perhaps, way of looking for additional assets, additional opportunities. I mean, the best way, obviously, is to do a financial plan that we find out where all the economic bodies are buried. Unfortunately, not all advisors are geared for that, and reality is not all clients want that. So what we do is we encourage our clients to, hey, create a very simple net worth worksheet. Update that once or twice a year with your clients, right? And it's very simple. Most people like to know that anyway. It's maybe a 10, 15-minute conversation versus a multi-hour planning process. And from a business development standpoint, it gives us access to the information that we need to determine if there's an optimization opportunity, okay? Which is right here, client optimization, 10 a month. So obviously we're making some traction on this, not exactly where we need to be, but we're moving it forward, which is important, okay? We also here track insurance. Insurance is a big part of our mix. So again, remember we talked about reviews. So this is where we're going to be doing, having opportunities to sit down with clients, actually creating proposal illustrations, and then if we have any policy deliverables, okay? And to me, this is just a very, very nice, it looks good, it's quote unquote pretty, it's aesthetically pleasing to my eye, way of tracking what you do. So, you could sit here and see that this is not some, overly complicated, arduous process. What you would do, and I kind of did it here, just for illustration. So I go to May here. You can just add another tab. You go to June, and just overwrite what you need to overwrite, empty out the cells you need to empty out, right? And you have everything that you need there. So I just want to encourage everybody, now that we're getting ready to go into the month of June, to really give some energy, some effort, some focus, some intention, if you will, to putting together a great monthly game plan, and not just putting it together, but have it reside on your screen, on your dashboard. Have it, I mean, this is to me what you look at every day to formulate a proactive daily game plan, a plan of attack for what you want to do. Okay, so I just want to say thank you all for taking some time. And I know some of you are going to sit there and say, man, I want to get my hands on this. So here's what we're going to do. If you're a silver or above member of Practice Power, we will actually have a sample Excel file that you can go download and play with it, modify it, call it your own, right? With it, and you can go grab that, and we will have a link to that in the Practice Management Center on dashboard, so you'll be able to find it there. And for everybody else, you can kind of just watch the video if you like, and if you want to build a simple Excel spreadsheet for yourself, I think that's great. I think it's definitely worthwhile to do. And the key thing again is to have this in front of you at all times throughout your business day. So for a lot of us who have multiple monitors and things like this, hey, instead of having ESPN on one of the monitors, right? Slide it over there. This will make you a lot more money, and get it up there, or cover up that Bloomberg or that CNBC feed, and that's not going to do you any good anyway. And go ahead and put this up there, and let it stare at you in the face every business day. I guarantee you'll be more focused, you'll be more proactive, you'll be more productive, because you'll see what you're looking to accomplish right in front of you. So have a great week, great weekend. And please make sure you put some concept of a June monthly game plan together. Thank you so much. This is Joe Lucas. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you again very soon.